Hello, boys and girls, and welcome to another episode of Movie Goodness, where we examine life through cinema here on the KB Radio Network. How are we doing out there in podcast listening land? I am I am excited. I am excited to talk about this subject today. And I don't know, maybe it's the pettiness in me. I don't know what the actual reason is, but for some strange, unearthly reason, this story gives I don't know if I can get through this episode. It's going to be hard. But this is this story has been living rent free in my head for the better part of 2 weeks, ever since I first heard it. And I'm like, man, this gotta be a joke. There's no way this is real. This no, there's no way. Because the first time I seen this story, the headline was just like, wait, is this a sketch or something? Is this a Saturday Night Live thing or something? They bringing back Punked on MTV. I don't know. This can't be real. Well, we're going to talk about this story. And after we talk about this story, we're going to get into a review of a film that came out in 1997 uh, entitled Copland, which starred Sylvester Stallone. And the, the reason we're talking about Copland, the film, today is because we have a cop. We have a cop that went be above and beyond the call of duty. Let's say that. Like I said, this story, when it first popped up on these news feeds on social media and whatnot, that I first glanced at it, I honest to God thought it was a joke. And this is what the headline read when I first saw the story. Married police woman sleeps with department. That was the headline. That's how they baited me into this story. And I was like, wait, is this real? And then they plastered her picture up, and okay, I mean, what you mean the department? What does that mean? And I mean, you read the story, she got fired, and what I'm like, okay, what you mean slept with the department? Department of what? I mean, what department? Who she slept with in the department? I'm thinking it was like a typo or some type of mistake, or like I said before, a joke. But the more and more I saw this pop up, pop up, pop up, and I even saw it on the news. This made the news. I'm like, wait, this was real? And then I really went into the story. And yeah, she slept with half of the police force, if not I kid you not. This is this is not a joke. Uh this happened in Tennessee, a small town in Tennessee. And this female police officer allowed several of her fellow partners in crime, I guess, in crime fighting. I don't know what they were doing. She allowed them to run trains on her. Now, I'm not going to educate y'all on what a train is, but just use your imagination. But yeah, this was this was a thing. This was a thing, and it wasn't like they took advantage of her or not. This is she just was a thought, or is one. I'm like, wow, wow, this is crazy. There's no way this is humanly possible. There's no way that this story is real. There's no way. And when you read more into it, it and really get down to the nitty gritty of it, it gets wilder and wilder. And what really blew my socks off was the fact she got fired. And why that kind of threw me for a loop was like, man, police officers been killing black folks forever and they get medals. But she sleeps with half of her department and she get fired. Look, hey man, America. But here's the story. I'm gonna read the story to you. And try to get through it without just blowing a gasket here. All right. A small Tennessee police station has been rocked by allegations of wild sexual misconduct after a married female officer allegedly had steamy romps with not one, not two, not three, not even five, but six male officers, including illicit on duty liaisons, according to the report. Officer Megan Hall and her fellow law officers allegedly engaged in wild sexapades that included sending dirty pictures, taking her top off like a girls gone wild hot tub party, even even having oral sex with two police officers while on duty. The steamy shenanigans in which Hall allegedly bragged about the size of one of her partner's uh stuff and and claimed to be in an open marriage not only led Hall to get canned, but led the firing of four of her fellow officers. Uh, Two other officers who allegedly had romps with Hall kept their jobs, but did get suspended without pay. Um, the extracurricular activities took place at hotels and parties at other officers' houses, and even on a boat. While Hall was also allegedly performing oral sex on two of the officers while on duty at the police station and the police gym. This is according to a December 28th report. Uh, Officials began to look into the swinging personal lives of their officers when the mayor received a tip that Hall was sleeping with several fellow officers and had a threesome with one of the officers and his wife, among other claims. So I'm gonna pause right there. Now, so one of the fellas, now he's the one who kept his job. This gentleman, he kept his job, I guess because uh, reasons, but he they had threesomes with his wife. So it weren't like he was cheating on his wife. Got involved with it too. Hey, it ain't no fun unless the homie have some. I don't, man, this woman is wild, bruh. This woman was wow. Man, back to the story. When asked about the tip, uh, the officer who she had the threesome with his wife admitted to having sex with Hall on numerous occasions. He told investigators that Hall had told him about one of the officers who was black that he had a big black Yahoo. And I'm editing the Yahoo part. Um, and claimed she had performed a sex act with him while the pair was on the clock. Uh, he also said that he had seen Hall and another officer kiss while watching a football game at a party, and said Hall had kissed his own wife after learning they had an open marriage. Now, so I mean, him and his wife had an open marriage. She claimed to have been in an open marriage, but there's more to that story. The officer said Hall's husband saw the kiss and told officials that he really wasn't on board with the open marriage day, which means that they probably discussed it, or she discussed it, and he just went along with it. I mean, I don't know, but he wasn't 100% with this, but he witnessed the kiss. Now he didn't witness nothing else, but he witnessed the kiss. Now her husband name is Jedediah Hall. Now I'm not here to make fun of nobody, but I just have to say this: Jedediah is the most Tennessee name I've ever heard in my life. That is country all day long. who who names their child Jedediah? That sounds like a old 1880 grandpa. I don't. Anyways, on back with the story. Back with the story. She now the husband Jedediah, like I said, he wasn't on board with his wife having a threesome with the other officer and his wife, but allegedly he did know about it. But she continued to have the relationship with him despite her husband's dismay. When questioned, um, Officer Powell, who is one of the other officers that she had relations with, later denied that he had a sexual encounter with Hall, but said everybody knows she has multiple partners. And he named two of the officers to the investigators. After being caught lying about the gym, about being at the gym with Hall, Powell admitted to the philandering during a follow-up interview. Uh, Powell was then involved in a domestic disturbance with his wife, where he told investigators that she beat the sugar honey iced tea out of me, adding that he would, quote, most likely lose his children after the scorned woman learned of the affair. So when you heard domestic violence, that you probably think, oh, he went home and beat his wife. No, he went home and she beat him. When she found out about the, oh my god. I'm sorry. All right. Okay. All right. Now, the other officer, Holiday, admitted under questioning having sex with Hall on multiple occasions. And another officer revealed that he once went to Hall's house with another female and exposed his genitalia. Um, Jesus. After after initially denying having sexual relationships with two of the officers, Hall later confessed to having the affairs with the other officers, um, and also admitted to having sex with one of them in a motel after they met at a go-kart center. A charge that the officer initially denied before caving under the second interrogation. Another officer under questioning uh quoted is quoted by saying, I have never had sex with Megan Hall until admitting she had oral sex with him while on duty when pressed during the investigation. Um I, wait, I need a break for a sec. This is, and this ain't the end. I have, there's more to this. There is much more. This was going on while people houses were getting broke into, while people cars were being stolen, while people were being murdered in the streets, drugs being sold in the streets, people dying in the streets. These cops were out here having sex parties. I, man, you cannot write this. Hollywood could not write this mess. This was wow. This was completely wow. Oh, okay, okay. Let's get back to this story. Uh, one of the officers who had the threesome with Megan Hall with his wife. Also noted that he became concerned about Hall's mental health and heavy drinking. The officer said Hall had once pulled the trigger on an empty gun pointed at her temple so she could hear what it sounded like and said she was suffering from mental illness. Obviously, look, obviously she has a problem. She definitely has a sex addiction. We can I think we can all agree to that. Now the mental part, I don't know, never met the woman. Probably thankfully for my marriage sake. But she is something ain't right. Something is very wrong with her. Uh Later on, the off mentioned event in the report was a Memorial Day party at a boathouse owned by another member of the department, to which several officers had brought their children. Now, this is where it gets crazy because children are present. Okay, at one point during the party, an intoxicated Megan Hall was reportedly being force fed vodka by one of the officers in a hot tub, at which time her top came off and the other officers stopped the former officer from drinking and helped her cover up to protect her, according to the report. Um, Three officers were also dismissed for violating police procedures and lying during an investigation. Um, I'm assuming these are the well, I'm not assuming these are the three officers who actually had sex with Megan Hall while on duty. They were on duty. They were on the clock in the police station doing the do. So yeah, yeah. They had to get fired. Actually, I think they all should have. I don't see how the other two can still be there. I know they got their suspension and whatnot. They kept their jobs because they didn't lie about it. The other ones lied and tried to cover it up, but they kept theirs because they were upfront and honest about it. They just got suspended. I don't know if I could beat. I don't see how. Honest to God, I don't see how they kept their job. I couldn't work there. I could not work there. Um, like I said, three were along with Megan Hall. Three others were fired. Three others were suspended due to their connection with the probe. Um, HR director Howard Payton, who authorized the report and conducted the investigation, sanctioned the 8 officers with various penalties from sexual activity while on duty, sexual harassment, conduct unbecoming of an officer, and lying during the course of the investigation. It is further revealed that Hall and many of the male officers had shared lewd text messages and pornographic images of themselves. Pornography and offensive pictures in the workplace are forms of sexual harassment. And that I can tell you for a fact because on my job, I have to take a sexual harassment class every year. And me being a supervisor, I have to take 2 of them. And this is beat over our heads as supervisors on the job every year. Actually, it's twice a year. I'm sorry. It's twice a year for these sexual harassment classes. So yeah, I can amen that. None of that. And don't even talk about talk. It's certain things you can't even say on the job. It would turn to a sexual harassment complaint. Now it could be innocent in your mind, but if it come out wrong, it is sexual harassment. That's why on my job, I'm I'm like a mute. I don't even talk. I don't even talk, and I work around men, but I don't care. I do not talk. But yeah, that is a form of sexual harassment. These things are offensive, inappropriate, and can lead to a hostile work environment for other employees, says the report, and that's what they also preach at that class that I have to take every single year. So yeah, that's the report on this just cluster of a mess that took place in Tennessee. But I want to get into another part of this that's being lost here. I want to talk about old Jedediah because Paul Jedediah, I feel bad for that brother in a way because I don't, but I do. The reason I feel bad for him because I know this is embarrassing, but I don't feel bad for him because of this headline, this story that I'm about to read. And here's the headline: Husband of Tennessee cop at center of department sex scandal stick is sticking by his wife. Uh uh-uh, uh. Nah. That's a hard pass for me. I'm gonna tell you, I love my wife. I love my wife. Me and my wife been together for 26 years. We've been married for 23 years, if the Lord says the same in June. No. And we in those 26 years, we'd have been through a lot. We have dealt with a lot and we have worked through a lot to get to where we are. We still working through stuff. It's never a happy ending like you see in fairy tales. There's always something, and we work through it together. And this particular situation, there's nothing to work over. There's nothing to work through. There's nothing to talk about. I'm gone. There is look, man, look. I would love to be that man. I would love to be that man to say, yeah, I love my wife. I'm gonna stick by my wife. We're gonna get through this together. Love conquers all. I think this is the one thing that can stop that. This is the kryptonite. Six, and this is just six that we know of. This is just six that was on the police department. Who knows what she was doing? Because she obviously has a problem. She has an itch that she needs scratched bad. And Jedediah, you weren't scratching it. It wasn't happening. Bro, this is bad business. I don't know. Hey, man, look, I don't know. That's all I'm going to say. I have faith that my wife ain't doing nothing behind my back, just like she has faith that I'm not doing nothing behind her. I don't dread over it. I don't obsess over it. I just figured that she's being a good little girl. And we're good. You know, I don't want to think about what would happen. It's crazy. And I'm gonna get back to this story. It's funny that I bring this up. Cause my daughter, people, she came to me and asked me a couple of weeks ago, because we were watching something, and it was something that happened involving cheating. A man cheated on his wife or something, and she asked me, "Oh no, the wife cheated on the husband," and she asked me, hey, "What would you do if you find out that mom was cheating?" I said, "I don't know." I said, "I don't know what I would do." And she was like, "Would you leave? What would you do?" I said, "Well, baby, I'm gonna tell you like this. I can't give an honest answer to that because I've never been through that. And that's the only way I can answer it. Because I can sit here and tell you, oh, babe, we'll work it out. We'll figure it out. We'll find a way to work this out. And then if it happens, it go to complete left. Not only am I a murderer, but I'm a liar too. So I don't want to go that way. I'm just playing. I'm not gonna kill her. I'm not gonna kill anybody. But I will leave. That I can't. If it was six, there's no debating that. One, maybe. And I'm saying that loosely because I don't want to man. Oh, she listened to the show. Oh, he said I can do at least one. No, I'm not saying that. Let's get back with this story because I think I'm getting upset now. Now, like I said, old Jedediah is deciding to stick by his woman. All right, the husband of a Tennessee police officer fired for having sex with six of her coworkers is standing by his wife, according to a report. Um, I don't know how he's doing it. He's more of a man than I am, but he's trying to salvage his marriage. This is a quote coming from Jedediah's boss of Coffee County Sheriff Office, Chad Parton. So yeah, in case you don't, I failed to mention that before. He's also in law enforcement, Jedediah. He just doesn't work for that department. Maybe he should have. Anyways, Jedediah's wife, Officer Megan Hill, um, was fired after allegations emerged that she engaged in sex with her coworker, sent new pictures, took off her top at a Girls Going Wild themed hot tub party, and performed oral sex to two of her federal officers while on duty. The hanky panky also led to the firings of, here's their names: Sergeant Lewis Powell, Officer Juan Liego, Sergeant Ty McGraw, and Detective Cinta Shields. Uh, wow. Officer Patrick Malengico. I'm pretty sure I'm butchering his name. It's spelled Magliocco. And Larry Holiday, who allegedly also had romps with Megan Hall, stayed on the force but were suspended. Patrick, he's the one that had the threesome with his wife. Yeah. Megan Hall had told her coworkers that she was in an open marriage, investigators said. One of her coworkers, however, said that Jedediah, who according to the Daily Mail is a son of a pastor, was not on point. So he's a priest. Oh my god, this story gets better and better. Oh, so she, her father-in-law is a pastor. oh, oh my god, I love it. Okay, uh, Parton said the former park ranger had been training for a job with the Tennessee Highway Patrol, but pulled out after the allegations against his wife became public. He since became a deputy at Coffee County. I had offered and extended to him any resource that he needed. And all he said is, Sheriff, I just want to work for the citizens of Coffee County, and I love what I'm doing. Um, I all I can say to that, all I can say to that is that love makes you do some crazy things. Love will blind you, man. Love will make you just turn a blind eye to some craziness. We see it all the time. All of us have been sick in love, dumb in love at one point, or at least we thought it was love at the time. I know I have. I know I have. I thought I was in love with this girl when I was in high school, and no, I wasn't. I didn't know what love was, but I was willing to tie a rope around the moon and pull it down. But it wasn't love, you know. And in this case, look, I can't say what's in that man's heart. Obviously he loves her, but I don't know. There's levels to this. There's levels to this. You can love somebody, but you can love somebody in a wrong way. I think it's best, me personally, if I was counseling him and her, I'm gonna tell them that maybe take some time apart. Maybe get away from each other for a minute because this isn't healthy. This isn't healthy. And there's one thing I failed to mention. while I was discussing uh Megan Hall and her philandering and the other officers who were involved. Here's where it gets crazy. I forgot to mention this key element in this. Megan Hall is white. 3 of the 6 officers were black. And I think I did mention one because she made it a point to mention about the man's man junk. One of one of the black ones. So I look, all the black ones got fired. I just want to throw that out there. Now they all deserved it. I ain't making this a race thing. I'm just saying they all got fired. One of them, Powell, is the one. Lieutenant, if I'm not mistaken. Wait, let me see this again. Was it lieutenant? Is he a lieutenant? He was a sergeant. I'm sorry. Sergeant Lewis Powell. He is the one, and he's black. He's the one that went home and his wife beat him half to death. So I'm gonna go out on a limb, and I could be wrong because I don't know, but I'm gonna go out on a limb and say he was married to a black woman. I'm because that sounds like black woman stuff. That sounds like my wife if she was to find out that I did that. That's one of my biggest fears in life. That's why I don't cheat because I'm scared of my wife. I'm not afraid to say it. Oh, Kevin's scared. You scary. You doggone right I am. I'm not I'm not testing that woman. No, because I don't think she gonna beat me. I think she gonna kill me. So I'm not risking it. I'm good. I'm good. But yeah, man, this is a wild story that just blew my mind when I heard about it. I, honest to God, didn't think this was real. Honest to God, and all the foolishness that's going on. That little thing in the hot tub, in the drinking, and the taking your top off on that boat. There were children on that boat. There were children on that boat. Man, she didn't care. That's why I gotta say, maybe she do have some mental issues. But this is the only report that came from was from one of the officers, Patrick, uh, Magluko. I think Maluko. He's the one that says that. He's the only one that says that, and I think they were really in a quote unquote relationship, even though he has a wife, and they were swinging, having threesomes and stuff. But I think he really had feelings for her, and I think he's trying to protect her. But at the same time, um, man, I don't know. I don't know what to say about her. She is just wow. And I'm looking at a picture of her right now. I mean, she's a cute little girl. I mean, I say little girl, she's a woman, but I mean, she's cute. But I don't. I just don't see. I don't see. I don't see bona fide freak there. I don't see it. But those be the ones. Those be those be the ones. Man, this is crazy. And I'm looking at a picture of old Jedediah. Yep, yep. He looks like a Jedediah. Anyway, yeah, that's the story of the married police officer who slept with her department. And that's what took place in this small rural town in Tennessee. All right, let's get into the review. Let's talk about this movie that that okay. Okay. I got it together. I got it together. Anyway, let's get into our review of the 1997 film Copland, which you can make a reboot of that right now and base it on this story that took place. I bet your bottom dollar there'll be a movie about this soon. Now, I don't know if it'll be a Lifetime well, it won't be Hallmark, but it'll probably be a Lifetime or uh, I don't see it being a theatrical film. But they're gonna do something with this. This is printing money. This prints money. This story. Or somebody give me the rights. I'll make it. It'll be a comedy, but I will make it. Man, this is wow. Anyways, Copland, released in 1997, starring Sylvester Stallone, um, Harvey Keitel, Ray Liotta, the late great Ray Liotta passed away last year. God rest his soul, and Robert De Niro, and also Robert Patrick, Michael Rappaport. Uh, it was a slew of people in this movie, and it's directed by James Mangold, who famously directed Logan, one of the best comic book films ever. And I say comic book films. This is a Logan was just, oh man, you want to talk about rip your heart out. If you were a fan of Logan, uh I mean, just rips your heart out, man. Ah, what a movie. But that's not what we're talking about. Yeah, James Mangold is an awesome director. Along with Logan, he directed 310 to Yuma, which I enjoyed. Identity, I enjoyed that film as well. And upcoming in the upcoming when it come out in June, he's directing the next installment in the Indiana Jones series, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, which is the first Indiana Jones film not directed by Steven Spielberg, and he's taken over the mantle. Now, if he's taken over for Steven Spielberg, that lets you know this man can direct. So, anywho's, this is one of his first films that he helmed, and what a film! What a film! I remember this movie vividly because I was working at a AMC theater when this came out, and I just think I just graduated or about to graduate, one of the two. And one of the many joys of working at the AMC theater, you get to watch movies all day. It's for free, you know. Well, actually, you're getting paid to watch movies all day. I was an usher, and so when we weren't cleaning up the theaters, we were just walking around making sure and popcorn, sweeping up popcorn on the ground, whatever. And you can walk in and make sure everybody's sitting where they're supposed to be seating. Nobody have their feet on the backs of seats and all that other good stuff. Which I wasn't doing that. I was watching the movies, and this was one of the movies that I would go in to see around that time. And initially, first viewing, I didn't care for it because I thought it was going to be something else. You know, around this time in '97, you know, in the '90s, excuse me, you had Sylvester Stallone. And when you think of Sylvester Stallone, man, you think of Rocky, you think of Rambo, you think of Cobra, you know, Tango and Cash, you know, these action movies. So I'm thinking, it's okay, Sylvester Stallone film, this is gonna be an action film. No, it wasn't. There was no action in this. It was zero action in this film. This was well, they had a little bit at the end, but nothing that you would classify as action. You know, cars flipping over and buildings explode. It was just it was a crime drama. And then Sylvester Stallone in this movie put on like 20 or 30 pounds of weight, you know, to be out of shape for this character, for this role. And he's playing this character who was deaf in one ear. And basically his the story of this film is Sylvester Stallone, he plays this sheriff in a small town in New Jersey. Uh who comes into this conflict with the corrupt New York police officers who live in that community. So this was a town where police officers in the city lived. You know, they lived outside the city in this small New Jersey town. And Sylvester Stallone was the sheriff of that town. And insanity ensues when he finds out that the majority of those police officers are corrupt. And he always dreamt of being a big city police officer. You know what I'm saying? He wanted to be those guys. He looked up to those guys, and they all looked down on him. You know, the cops are played by Harvey Keitel, and Ray Liotta and well, Robert De Niro wasn't one of the corrupt ones, but he played a big part in it too. But yeah, they looked down at him like he was nothing. You know what I'm saying? And it was like it was a heartbreaking role for Sylvester Stallone. Very different role for him, and I think he held it down massively. He look, you can argue that out of all those action stars from the 80s and 90s, you know, whether it's Sly or Arnold or Bruce or Steven Seagal, you know, all those other ones, the best actor out of all of them, I mean, like actor, is Sylvester Stallone, in my humble opinion. You're not gonna get it unless something happens between now and Arnold Schwarzenegger next film. I, Arnold Schwarzenegger is not going to be nominated for an Academy Award. Steven Seagal is the worst actor you ever want to see on screen. Uh, Bruce Willis, God bless him. He's a good actor. He's funny, but Academy Award, he came close. He came close in 12 Monkeys. Uh, Sixth Sense too, but nothing that you would say like he's a thespian. Sylvester Stallone really gives some real good performances in his action movies. Think back now. Think back to First Blood. That was a powerful performance by Sly. Powerful performance. Um, you see him recently in Tulsa King. If you haven't watched Tulsa King, which is on Paramount Plus, you are missing out. Sylvester Stallone plays this mobster who goes to Tulsa, Oklahoma, and start up this little criminal empire or whatever. What a good show! I thought it was gonna be a corny little cheese ball show. It is not. It's really really good. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. The season finale was a couple of weeks ago. I really enjoyed that show. Can't wait for season two. But anywho's, the point I was trying to make is Sly can act. You know, he got nominated for the Academy Award for Creed. For Creed, for playing a character he had played for 40 years. Rocky Balboa. You know, and Rocky is a powerful character. You know, going back to, I used to think when I was younger, I actually thought that Sylvester Stallone was kind of slow, you know, because Rocky was kind of slow. I mean, he wasn't like mentally retarded or nothing like that, but you know, he was just slow, and I always thought that's because he convinced me that he was, you know, but he is a real great actor, and in this film, this is probably one of the best acting performances you're going to get from Sly Stallone, and he wasn't nominated for nothing. And I thought that was criminal back then. Still do. He gave a powerful performance in this role. Small little film, small budget. I think it was only like $15 million to make this movie. Um, I mean, powerful movie. He was in love with one of the police officers' wives, but he was abusive to her. But he was in love with her. But they never did anything. But he just loved her. You know, he wanted to take care of her and protect her. You know, she wasn't. It wasn't no Megan Hall thing going on. But yeah, man, it was a real good movie, and him trying to he was working with Robert De Niro to try to uncover this corruption from these police officers, gather information for him, you know, and Robert De Niro's character was kind of using him, you know what I'm saying? And it was just really really good. I really really enjoyed it. Um I can't recommend it enough. Copland, which came out in 1997, directed by James Mangold, starring Sylvester Stallone, gets a letter grade of a B. It is a really good film, and one of those underrated gems that you don't hear people talking about. You know, it's been some distance between. It's been what, about 25 years, 26 years, whatever. since this film came out. You don't hear about it because around that time, what was it? Pulp Fiction came out around that time, and all those type of movies, and you kind of got lost in the shuffle. But man, I'm telling you, this is a real good film, solid film. Copland gets a beat. But speaking of Copland, they had their own little Copland up there in Tennessee with this little sex scandal. Oh man, it's, it is wow. Look, I just find it disturbing. It's I'm laughing at it, but at the end of the day, it really is sad. I'm laughing at it because I'm a sick individual, but it is a sad story. This is sad on so many levels. You know, the fact that this woman married, got a man, but that wasn't enough. She needed six, six, and another woman. So seven individuals to quench her thirst. Um, a police officer on duty. These police officers were on duty doing this stuff. It's sad, bruh. And I think this is another eye-opening experience to people who hold police officers in such high regard. I'm gonna say this, and before we get out of here, and look, this is just my opinion. When it comes to the police officers, there are good police officers out there, but there are also bad ones. There are police officers who truly took that oath and ran with it and wants to be uh uh uh, uh they take that protect and serve serious to really protect and serve the community. Then there are those who hide behind that badge, hide behind that gun, and just want to be bullies and want to do. They feel they could do whatever they want to do. They feel like they're bulletproof, even despite the fact they wear a bulletproof vest. I mean, they bulletproof to everything, and those are the ones that really disturb me. Aside from the ones that are killing and beating and raping people, unarmed black men and white people too. They are just they're, they're like their own little gang, a gang of bullies. you know, and it's sad to look at them all like that. And we get mad, and I try not to look at it that way because as black people, nothing is more upsetting and disgusting than to categorize all black people under one umbrella. Because that's what a lot of black people deal with. They deal with the fact that there are a certain contingent of white people who feel that all black people are the same. We're all thugs and whatever, and they lump us all together, and it's like same thing with white people, lumping all white people together, that, oh, they're all racist and stuff. Stop doing that. We need to stop doing that to groups of people. That let the races get their respect. give them they due. Not everybody deserves to be called a racist. I know there's this is going way off the tracks, but it popped in my head. I used to work with a man, white man, and he was a butthole. And the dude, it seemed like he was racist, but I knew he wasn't racist because he didn't care. You see, a lot of people, they got blinded by the fact that he messed over a lot of black people. But I witnessed with my own two eyes him mess over white people just as bad. He didn't care. He didn't care. Like I said, he was a butthole because he didn't care. It wasn't that he was black or white or whatever. I don't believe he was racist. I really don't. He don't work there anymore. But I never believed he was racist. I just didn't like you because you were an idiot. That's why I didn't like. And when me and him got into it that time, I let it be known, you're an idiot. I don't like you. So, um, yeah, don't just throw out the word all willy nilly. Give it to who is give it to who deserves it. And with police officers, I know there's a big rip, a huge gap between the police and the black community. There's a huge gap there, and like I said, I respect police officers because they do put their lives on the line every single day. I respect them because I wouldn't do it. I'm not built for that. Not everybody's built for that, and I'm first to admit I'm not the one. I'm not built for it, and so I do respect police officers, but all of them don't get my respect because they haven't earned my respect, and that's where I settle with. Just because I speak bad about a certain group of officers, don't mean that I hate all officers, and I guess that's the long way to get to that little conclusion for y'all. Just because I'm making fun of these imbeciles in Tennessee does not mean that I'm spewing hate towards police officers. Now, I'm not doing that. But I'm just talking about these group of idiots in Tennessee. So yeah, man. But what did you think? What do you think about this story? Isn't this wild, man? This I'm telling you, this has been living rent free in my head since the first day I saw it. I, I cannot get it out my head. Hopefully, me talking about it today, I can sleep at night now. Because this truly has been like, man, you got to be kidding me. But give me a holler. Just email the show, kbradiopodcast@gmail.com. Don't forget, you can also look me up on social media. Look me up on Twitter at KB Radio Network, and you can look me up on other social media platforms as well. Just search the KB Radio Network. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you're listening to, don't forget about the 5 stars and the reviews and sharing the show. It helps the show out tremendously. Everybody, thank you for joining me today for this deep dive into the sex scandal that rocked the community in this small rural town of Tennessee. It's crazy because I think I told y'all I went to Tennessee on vacation over the Christmas holidays, and so I weren't too far from this. And thank God I didn't get pulled over. That's all I can say. Anyways, everybody. Any, anyways, thank you for joining me today. I hope you all enjoy your day, your weekend, your week, whenever you are listening to this show. I really, really appreciate it. Want you all to know that I love you. Continue to love one another. And until we speak again, you all be blessed.